The other day, I was just playing around with my makeup and I realized that I have a few products from brands that I rarely, if ever, hear people on YouTube or Instagram talking about. It's not that no one ever talks about these brands. I just feel like, based on my experience with them, primarily positive, as you'll see in this video, they deserve a lot more credit and I wish I heard about them more often. I have essentially a full face today of products from brands that I feel like aren't talked about a lot on social media by content creators. So let's just go ahead and jump right in with concealer. I have two products today to kind of mix for my concealer. I'm going to be mixing my LA Girl Pro Conceal in their Peach Corrector shade with my Kokie Be Bright Illuminating Concealer. Now, it's not that I've never heard people talk about these two brands, but I don't hear people talk about these two products very often at all. I know LA Girl has gotten some buzz recently for their eyeshadow formula, which is great. And Kokie, I think, has, a bit of a cult following maybe with their one foundation. But I still don't hear too much about either of these brands kind of ever. So here I have a little bit of the Peach Corrector and a little bit of the Kokie Concealer. I just like to mix these two together and use them as my under eye concealer. Both of these products are really nice. The Kokie Concealer is like a light to medium coverage and the LA Girl is a corrector. So it's a nice peach shade and it's a little deep on my skin tone to be used alone as a corrector. But when I mix it with a concealer like this, it just really cancels out the dark circles under my eyes super well. All right, next up for foundation, I am using my Ordinary Serum Foundation. Now, if you've been on my channel for a while, you have heard me talk about this pretty much nonstop for over a year now, so I apologize for any redundancy here, but this foundation is so good. I hear people talk about The Ordinary all the time for their skincare, but I rarely, if ever, hear about their foundations. And I have both their serum foundation, the one I'm using today, and I have their coverage foundation, which is kind of a high medium coverage. And this one is kind of light to medium coverage. I really adore them both. They just look so skin-like and they have such a good natural finish. I love them. The only thing is, this is definitely my summer shade. It's the shade 2.0N, and so it's gonna be really dark on me right now, and I will just go back with that Kokie concealer after I apply this and kind of adjust the color a bit, because I'm telling you now, it's going to be way too dark. So you can see here, it's super liquidy. It's really runny, and I love that consistency for lighter weight coverage products so that it really does blend seamlessly into my skin. Like I said, it's going to be too dark. We'll fix that so I look normal today. Here is one light layer of the serum foundation. You really can tell here, I think, that it's so skin-like, it's so natural, and the color match is not as horrible as I expected it to be, but I am gonna go back in with just a little bit of this Kokie concealer to kind of brighten and even out a bit. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of powder today, and I'm using my Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. Now, I think Bare Minerals overall as a brand has a lot of awareness because I think a lot of people off of social media use Bare Minerals religiously. Also this year, I think they got a little bit of attention with the bronzer that they put out. I think that got quite a bit of buzz on social media. But up until then, I really didn't hear hardly anybody talking about Bare Minerals. And so I have the hydrating version of their Mineral Veil. I absolutely love it. This is like a holy grail for me because it really does set my makeup without drying my skin out. And I have very dry skin, so that's important to me. Let's go ahead and move on to cheek products. So The first one up here is the bronzer I'm going to use today, and it is the Balm Desert from the brand The Balm. And again, this is one that I think does pretty well overall as a brand off of social media. I just don't see people talking about it that often on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. So I am excited to kind of tell you why I love this so much. I also own a blush duo from them, but I have a different blush picked out today. So this bronzer, though, is just a really, really gorgeous shade and texture. It's extremely pigmented, so if you choose to purchase any of the cheek products from The Balm, in my experience, they're all incredibly pigmented. So just go in with a light hand. But this color in particular is so flattering on my skin tone. I have neutral leaning, slightly cool undertones, and this bronzer has just a hint of like a blushy reddish undertone that is so flattering on my skin. It truly looks really natural. It looks like the color my skin turns when I tan. So I really love this and appreciate it for the uniqueness of the color. It is also one of my longest wearing cheek colors of any product that I've ever owned. It just never ever fades at all. So like I said, it's really pigmented. Even for me in the summer, it's really pigmented. So I'm gonna go in with a super light hand, and if I need to build it up, I will, but I'm gonna start slow. And you'll see here, the shade that it is on me just looks really natural. So you can almost like barely see that, right? Because I went in with such a light hand, but you can absolutely see like that reddish, brownish undertone there. I have it kind of in this C shape. You can see that there, and it just genuinely looks like my skin, and it makes me so happy. If you oftentimes feel like you struggle to find a bronzer that's not too like orange toned on you, I would highly recommend this Balm Desert. It's just really unique. I've never quite seen another bronzer that's this shade. I don't want to overdo this because my skin's already a little darker than my neck today, but we'll bronze up my neck a bit too. Now for blush, I picked out my Daniel Sandler Watercolor Gel Cheek Color. Now this brand I've talked about a lot on my channel, but I oftentimes am referring to their watercolor liquid cheek colors. Let me actually just grab one to show you. Okay, so they have two different formats for their cheek colors. One is this liquid, and it's like truly basically a water consistency, and one is this gel that's in this little tube, and it's kind of more of a little bit of a stiffer application. It's a little easier to control. And I talk about these liquid ones so much that I wanted to feature the gel one today on my channel, but I love both of these. I love them both. They just provide a perfect skin finish. They never disturb my base or change the textures that I have already going on my face, and they blend perfectly both over powders and creams. And best of the best, they give you all of those things, all of those great benefits of a kind of liquid or cream cheek product, but they have the lasting power that exceeds even powders in my collection. They're truly outstanding products. So here is the shade I have. It's called Petal. These apply super well with your fingers. I am gonna dab it on though and then blend it out with a brush today. So there you can see it's layering perfectly on top of the bronzer. No patchiness, it doesn't pick up my foundation, nothing weird like that. It is just such a good formula. Okay, and see, I only use that much. A little goes a long way with this product, and that's one of the beauties of it, is it is a little bit of a higher price tag, but both the liquid and the cream, I use so little every time I use them. They last forever. And then last up on cheeks is my highlighter for the day, and this is from Estate Cosmetics, and it's their baked highlighter in the shade Do Me. Oh no, sorry, it's their Do Me baked highlighter in the shade Lit. And it is so, so beautiful. This is one of the only golden toned highlighters I've ever liked on my skin tone. And I think it's because it is a really buildable formula. It doesn't go on like a streak of gold onto my cheeks. It really goes on so seamlessly. It blends into my skin really beautifully. And so it just leaves kind of a nice diffused gold light. But as someone with neutral leaning cool undertones, gold is a really hard cheek color to pull off. And so the fact that I have one that's just a little more gold than champagne or pink is really nice. And I really do love this formula as well. Now, this is the only thing I own from Estate Cosmetics, so I can't speak to the rest of their line, but I will tell you I highly recommend this. I think it's only $10 or something in that range as well, so a really good price for an incredible product. So I know my cheeks were already pretty glowy today with that cream blush, and I had barely powdered my cheeks, but it is just such a good highlighter. I hope you can see that little glint of gold in there now. Okay, before I move on to eyes, I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows off camera. I don't really have brow products from kind of underutilized brands. So I'm just using my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil and my NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. All right, brows are done, and while I was away, I also decided I'm gonna do lips before eyes because I have one lipstick picked out, but a few different eyeshadows to choose from. So I'm gonna let my lipstick dictate my eye look today. But I went ahead and used my ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Oh Snap before I came back on camera because ColourPop is definitely talked about enough on social media. So hopping over to the lipstick then. Today I'm using the Real Her Cosmetics Moisturizing Lipstick in the shade Girl Power. Now this is a little like sampler size. They come in like a nice full-size bullet lipstick format if you buy it from the brand. But when I tell you this is one of my favorite lipsticks of all time, I am not exaggerating. It is such a gorgeous, like slightly deep mauve shade. It is truly beautiful. I think it's like the perfect neutral mauve tone. It's not too warm, not too cool. It goes with nearly every look I do when I want a pink lip, and it really is a good moisturizing formula. Now, even as like a satin moisturizing lipstick, this lasts so well throughout the day. It's just truly, it's such a good shade. It is such a good shade, such a good formula, really high pigment, really beautiful finish. I love this lipstick and not enough people talk about it. Now, this is the only thing I own from Real Hair Cosmetics. I would 10 out of 10 recommend this. I haven't really seen a lot of reviews or information about their other products, so I can really only vouch for this lipstick formula, and I love this shade in particular, but they have a really gorgeous lipstick lineup. All right, and now finally on to eyes. And the lipstick definitely did dictate what I'm gonna do with my eyes. So I'm glad that I did it first and kind of got a sense of what direction to go here. I have two different eyeshadow formulas I wanna talk about today. And I have heard a lot of indie YouTube creators talk about both of these brands, but on people's channels who kind of lean more towards mainstream products and brands, I rarely, if ever, hear about these two brands. So I thought I would just cover them here. They are both absolutely outstanding, but they're fairly different from each other. So the first one up here is Sydney Grace. So I have 3 mattes and 4 metallic shades from the brand. I have a full review of these with like really nice swatches and everything on my channel already. So I will link that down below in case you want to see how these all swatch. But basically, the main reason I love Sydney Grace in particular is because their metallics are like full pigment, full foil, like out of this world pigment. I can't even explain to you. I barely dip my finger or my brush into these shimmer shades and they cover my lids, and then there's like extra all over my brush or my finger still because they are so incredibly pigmented and it's outstanding. I mean, definitely the most pigmented shimmers or metallics in my entire collection. Now on essentially the opposite end of the spectrum, I have my single shadows from JD Glow. I also have a full review of these with swatches and good textural stuff in the video, so I'll link that down below as well in case you want to see them all swatched out. But I love this formula for essentially the exact opposite reason of why I love Sydney Grace's metallic formula. JD Glow, these shadows are really like piecey and flaky. And so they add a lot of texture and dimension and interest to an eye look that I just can't get with any other eyeshadow that I own. They truly are something outstanding, so special, so incredible. I love them, and they're really unique. Now I have 3 Galaxy shadows, this one, and this one. And then this orangey shade one is one of their metallic formulas. The metallic formula is a little more pigmented, thick, and smooth, but it still can be sheared out quite a bit to be a little bit more of that like piecey, flaky look. The 3 Galaxy shadows are like just outstanding. They're crazy. You should go watch my review if you want to see the texture like really truly in action. Now, all of that being said, I really did want to wear my JD Glow shadows today, but I think just given my cheeks and my lips and kind of how this look is coming together, I'm probably going to go to my Sydney Grace. I think I want to do something relatively neutral because I do have, you know, the peach cheeks and the pink lips. I kind of want to keep my eyes a little bit more neutral leaning. I will also say the mascara that I'm featuring today is brown, and so I don't want to go too over the top because I want things to kind of look, I don't know, sort of natural with the brown mascara. I don't want to kind of lose my lashes completely in the look. So let me think for a second on how I can approach this. Okay, so change of plans. I did a little bit of swatching here and I'll tell you what these are just in case you're curious. But I am definitely struggling with the idea of having to kind of create more of a daytime, everyday look with these eyeshadows that in my eyes are just like my most outstanding shades. So I think I'm just gonna let my face be a little bit disconnected. I'm not going to try to like match the look too much. It's going to be a little disjointed, and that's fine because I really want to show you some of these shadows. So just for reference, this one over here is a duochrome. It has a pink base and then a green shift on top there. That one is Sydney Grace, The Greatest Gift. This next one over, that silvery taupe, is Sydney Grace, Tiara. This one here is from JD Glow. It's the shade Pressed. That's the metallic formula from JD Glow. And then up here, this piecey reflective goodness, that is the shade Good God from JD Glow. And I have decided I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna put that all over my lids. Things are gonna get a little bit wild here because it's not really gonna go with the rest of this aesthetic, but we're just gonna make it work. I really wanna show you kind of how beautiful and piecey that this really does look on the eyes. Okay, sorry, now I've swatched some more because I feel like I haven't made up my mind. This one here is JD Glow Unexpected. It is a really just wet look shadow because it has that greenish topper like reflection in it, but it really only looks green when it hits the light. And so the rest of the time it really just looks wet. And then over here is JD Glow 365, which is a goldish greenish color. It's really beautiful. And you know what? I have done Unexpected all over my lids and other looks on my channel. So if you search for that, you'll see this one in action, including, I think, in that JD Glow review video I'm gonna link for you. So I'm gonna use 365 because I don't think I've ever used that one on my lids in a video before. So I'm gonna use my finger. These do tend to have a lot of fallout. So when I'm putting it on, I'm gonna like look down quite a bit so that hopefully things will just fall like onto my lap rather than onto my cheeks because I do have that cream cheek on. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Oh my gosh, it's just, oh man. Woo! Got a little carried away. Got to brush some of that off. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful holiday look. If you're looking for some holiday inspiration, my goodness, what could be better? But hopefully you can see here, that's just like piecey and flaky, and I didn't want to put any mattes underneath or anything today because I want you to really see that texture. But this actually is coming together because I do have a little bit of that gold tone in my highlighter today. So it's kind of gonna play off of that nicely. They're really flexible formulas because you can like keep tapping more on and add more bigger chunky flakes. You can brush away like I just did and kind of let some of it fall off of your face. And you can see from bending over, I did avoid having too much fallout on my cheeks. I just now, of course, have glitter essentially all over my lap. So pick your poison, I guess, with these sorts of shades, or do your eyes first. Okay, so since I'm using a brown mascara today, and since sadly I didn't use any of my Sydney Grace shadows, I am just gonna use their dark brown here. This is called Dark Chocolate, and it's just a really beautiful matte. I'm gonna use this as a bit of an eyeliner just to define my lash line a bit more, because I know this brown mascara is probably gonna have a bit of a hard time holding up against this eye look. Yeah, I think that'll just help define my eyes a little bit. Onto that mascara I keep referencing. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. I have the shade Crystal, which is described as a brown black. It is pretty brown. It doesn't lean that black, but it's a dark, rich brown, but it's definitely a brown mascara. Now, this mascara I love because it's a tubing formula, so it comes off really easily at the end of the night. It just comes off in those little flakes. No rubbing, no scrubbing, don't have to like rub on my eyes with makeup remover. It's really, really nice. It gives me incredible length. Incredible length. I mean, this makes my lashes look probably double or triple the length that they actually are naturally. It does not give me a lot of volume because it's those little tubes around your lashes rather than like just a pigment on your lashes. It doesn't really build on itself. So you get the length, but you can't really go back in for multiple coats and like build up volume. So again, I'm a little worried about how it's gonna look against this like pretty glam eyeshadow, but I'm hoping it'll at least give you a sense of what this looks like on me. Thrive is another one of those brands where I feel like I hear a couple creators talking about Thrive a lot, and then everybody else basically has either never tried it or just doesn't really talk about it on their platforms. So I have loved this so much. The only other thing I have from Thrive is their Buildable Blur HD Creaseless Concealer, and that is actually also one of my all-time favorite products in my collection. So I have two products from them. Both of them are huge, huge hits for me. I am really excited to try more from this brand because I just feel like they have such high quality, high performing products. And they are a little pricier, but they're an independently owned brand and they're women owned. So it just makes me really, really happy to support them. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how this looks with the eyeshadow I've picked today. Okay, it's kind of holding its own. It's definitely a little hard to see, my fault, because I put that eyeliner behind there so that I have a little more oomph at the lash line. So you can't quite see how nice it's making my lashes there, but it really is. It's, oh gosh, it's just such a beautiful formula. For length, if you're looking for volume, this isn't the one for you. I will tell you that. Yeah, I mean, I hope you can see when I don't have eyeliner on, like I like this mascara a lot for just like every day without any eye makeup because it's brown and so it looks a little more natural and because it makes my eyelashes look so long. Right now, the eyeliner I put there really is kind of blocking the view a bit, but hopefully you agree with me that it is actually holding its own with this eye look despite the fact that it's a brown lengthening mascara. Let me take my hair down. That wraps up this look of a bunch of brands that I kind of feel maybe don't get the credit they're due based on my experience with their products. I really do recommend every single item in this video. Again, like I said, I haven't tried everything from these lines. Like I haven't tried everything that each of these brands makes and sells, but everything linked in my description box today are top recommendations from me from brands that I feel like kind of just don't get the credit that they are due. I hope you enjoyed this video today. This was a really fun one for me because I really, really like to support independently owned brands, which a lot of these are. I also just really, really enjoy kind of exploring and finding new things. So hopefully this was fun for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried any of these brands. And thank you so, so much for watching. I will see you next time.